Is this then Europe's attempt at trying to extend its influence in the developing world?
Well, Tom, in many ways, it really, really is. This is a response now, perhaps even a direct competitor to the Silk and Belt Road. You've been in China. You know the country very well. You know that this has been an incredibly successful program for China over the past 10 years when it comes to going after developing countries, targeting key infrastructure, and, of course, securing in many ways its own supply chain, but also growing political influence. What the European Union is now trying to say is we can do that too. We can provide funding to. And of course, there is a key vested interest for the EU to do so in places in Africa that has a very clear trade connection with France, Latin America, with Spain, but also try to present itself as a global power that can counteract the Chinese. Now, of course, when you look at the numbers on a bigger scale here, you could argue there's estimates out there that suggest the Silk and Belt Road is huge. We're talking about trillions. The European Union is putting 300 billion euros from now until 2023. But nonetheless, it is significant. This shows that there is now a cohesive plan from the EU to compete on a global scale when it comes to investing. And then secondly, of course, when you look at Chinese investments, you always have to be very careful about what is budgeted to then the execution, which numbers then, of course, tend to be much smaller.
Maria, how much concern is there in Europe about China making inroads into its own backyard?
Well, Danny, you know, that's a very good point because the timing of this is not a coincidence. Now, I want to show you a chart that in many ways tells you the entire story here. You look at European Union investment in China, European Union, the money received from China, and you can see here that for the past 2 years, it's been dipping, and it's been dipping at a big pace. What it shows here is that this is now a frosty relationship in which the European Union now looks at China as a strategic rival on the global stage. And if you look at this relationship over the past year, you've seen that the EU-China investment deal is in many ways dead, I would say. I was going to say in the freezer, but many actually tell me it's not going to be ever ratified for the time being. We've also seen that Huawei has not been able to make inroads in the European Union. And of course, we're also seeing the European Union saying we don't want Chinese companies with huge subsidies going into our continent and snapping away our companies. Of course, the timing of this also shows that there is a very strong political interest from the European Union to shield itself from China, but also protects its interests on a global scale.